Welcome to Adult ypww Lesson 7. I do not own the rights to this music. Today's topic is Activities of the Messiah. The lesson text is coming out of Psalms chapter 2. The memory verse. I will read the King James Version first and then the New International Version of Psalms chapter 2, verse 12. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him. The New International Version. Kiss his Son, or he will be angry, and your way will lead to your destruction, for his wrath can flare up in a moment. Blessed are all who take refuge in him. Psalms chapter 2 is a very special poem. The basis for its peculiarity is twofold. Firstly, it belongs to the genre or type of psalms known as royal psalms. These points are characterized by an intense interest in the deeds, the authority, and the well being of the Israelite king. In short, the Israelite monarchy was the focus of these compositions, namely the Davidic monarch. Psalms chapter 18, chapter 45, chapter 72, chapter 89, chapter 101, chapter 110, and 132 join the song as royal psalms. Secondly, participants in the Jesus movement saw Jesus' experiences as fulfillments of Psalms 2. Persons who were active in the early days of Palestinian Christianity, that's 30 AD to 70 AD, understood this point to validate the messiahship of Jesus. The author of Acts saw the actions of Jesus' conspirators as the fulfillment of Psalms chapter 2, verses 1 and 2, and the divine sonship of Jesus as the thing signified in Psalms chapter 2, verse 7. Acts chapter 4, verses 25 and 26, and Acts chapter 13, verse 33. Psalms chapter 2's place among the royal psalms and its authority within the Jesus movement makes it a very special portion of Scripture. The royal psalms address different situations in the life of the Davidic monarch. Psalms chapter 2 deals with the problem of insurrections. It denounces attempts to overthrow the king by enforcing the legitimacy of the Davidic king. This point makes it very clear that the house of David was selected, empowered, and authorized by Yahweh to rule over Israel. Here, the poem, verses 1 through 5, states the futility of rebelling against the Davidic king. The poet of this psalm says that plots against God's appointed leader will not prosper. Verses 6 through 9 identify the reason for the unsuccessful mutiny and the thoroughness of the Davidic monarch's regime. The divine sonship of the Davidic monarch is why one should not rebel against the Judean king. Like other ancient Near Eastern nations, Israel did believe that their ruler was unique. On the day that the king ascended the throne, Jerusalemites held that their monarch became a son of God, and that's Psalm chapter 2, verse 7. What is more, verse 9 talks about the results of the relationship. Since the Davidic ruler is in a special fellowship with God, he will be a dynamic leader. And that's Psalms chapter 2, verse 9. On the one hand, Psalms 2 praises those who exemplify their obedience to God by listening to his ruler. We must follow and support the man or woman of God. On the other hand, it praises the ability of a God sent ruler. It speaks highly of his or her competence. There is more to be said. Since we affirm Jesus as our Messiah and ruler, it makes no sense to rebel against him. In short, we need to get with God's program. Evidencing our love for God using carrying out the mandates of Christ should be our aim. The precepts of Christ should direct our careers, marriages, relationships, and hobbies. The questions for today's lesson. Number 1, what are the royal psalms? Number 2, how does one identify a God-sent ruler? Number 3, what are some worldly dangers of rebellion against the church? Number 4, what are some modern ways of rebellion against God? Number 5, is it possible for anyone to truly hinder God's plan to save mankind? If not, why not? The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.